everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I am on a financial freedom journey with my family. Today I am sharing our July 2022 budget closeout. I love filming these videos. It's so fun to reflect on the month with you guys. And this month was a doozy. It was a crazy month. We were in the process of buying and selling a home. We have not actually bought our new home yet. So we are kind of like in limbo right now. But yeah, it was a really crazy month, really exciting. Lots of things going on and lots of overspending, if I'm being completely honest. I did pre-fill this out just to make this a quicker video because I have a baby that's cranky and I am filming with limited time here. So I am filming on borrowed time. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for our W-2 income, we had budgeted $7,000 and we did bring in $7,000. And then for our side hustle income, we never budget for that, and we did bring in $255. So that leaves us with a total income for the month of July at $7,255. So let's go ahead and see how we spent that. So for our mortgage, we had budgeted $1,284, which is our usual amount, but we actually did not spend anything. So yeah, let me explain that. When I do these budgets, so if you go back to my July budget, which I will link in the bio below if you want to go check that out, I budget for the mortgage for the month following. So in our July budget, I budgeted for our August 1st mortgage. So we actually sold our home on July 29th. So that means that we did not have to pay our August 1st mortgage. So even though I had budgeted for it, because I wanted to obviously make sure we had the money set aside just in case, closing got postponed or those kind of things, I wanted to make sure we had the money in the budget. We actually had an extra over $1,200 left in the budget. So I will explain a little bit more at the end of the video what we ended up doing with that extra $1,000. You guys will see in a little bit, but yes, so we didn't have that for this month. For cell phones, we budgeted our regular $130 and we paid $130. So no change there, and that was at 1.8%. Then we had our subscriptions. So right now our subscriptions are just Netflix and Peloton. So we had budgeted $61 and we had spent $61. No difference there, and that is at 0.8%. And then we had utilities, which we had budgeted $260. So we budgeted $200 for electric and $60 for internet. And we actually spent $270, so we were a little bit over for our electric, which isn't abnormal because it was for the month of June, which obviously is a pretty hot month. So we did go a little bit over. We were at like $210 for our electricity, which was $10 off, and that was at 3.7%. Then we had preschool for my daughter, so we had budgeted $832. We sent $832 to her preschool, and that was no difference. And that is at 11.5%, which, oh my gosh, so crazy. Like, preschool is ridiculously expensive. I don't know if you guys have kids that are in daycare, but oh my gosh, it's insane. Then we had our car insurance. So we actually did also go over on our car insurance. I know I had talked to a few people that had said that their car insurance price had went up. So we were actually at $432 for 6 months. I get a lot of questions on car insurance. We prefer to pay it twice a year instead of paying it monthly. Our insurance provider gives us a discount for doing that. So in my opinion, if we are able to do it, we just like to do it because it saves us a little bit of money. So we were at $432 for that, which was a difference of $32, and that was at 6%. Next, we had our Southwest fee. So we do have a Southwest credit card that we use for all of our expenses, and that was $99. We do pay that. I know I'm usually not a fan of cards with fees, but we absolutely love our Southwest card, and they also do give you a few thousand. I think I get 6,000 points a year. So 6,000 points is way more value than $99. So it ends up being worth it. And then the amount that we use the card, we end up flying for free. Like, for example, I just booked my husband a flight to visit one of his friends in the Carolinas over, I think it's in November or December, and it was free. So we only had to pay like $11, which is the fee, and we were able to get that flight for him for free. So it's definitely worth it for us. The last time that we went to Florida, we also flew for free for our family. So it's really nice, and I recommend it. I always have it linked in the bio down below if you want to check out that card. I recommend it, but I only recommend it if you are able to be responsible with credit cards. No shame on anybody, because I definitely had a long period of time in my early 20s, mid 20s that I was not responsible with credit cards. So I am not shaming you at all. I totally get it. But yeah, just don't use a credit card then if you are not able to not revolve it, because it cancels out any of the rewards that you would be getting if you're going to revolve it, because you're paying so much in interest. So if you're going to use a credit card, definitely use it responsibly. Then we also had our Minnesota vacation. So we had budgeted $300. I really wasn't sure what we were going to spend. I actually did a reel on Instagram if you want to go see how this 163 broke down. I did film that reel and post it a couple weeks ago. So go check that out if you're interested. That gave us an extra 137. That was at 2.2%. So we did go to Minnesota. It was a really fun time, although the game that we went to got rained out, so it was kind of a bummer, but it was really fun. And also we brought all three of our kids that range from 7 to 6 months, and yeah, even though the game got rained out, it was okay because we probably weren't going to stay the whole time anyway. But yeah, it was really fun. So we spent 163. That was mostly on like gas and some concessions, and that's pretty much it. It was a really, really quick trip. We were only there overnight, so we didn't have to spend a ton of money. Giving, we have a monthly reoccurring donation that goes to St. Jude in the amount of $100. So that has been working out great. That was a 1.4%. Spending, my husband and I both get $100 a month to spend on whatever we want, whatever we want to spend it on. We don't track it or anything. It just goes into our personal checking account. So we get $100 each. When we were in debt, we had significantly less spending of money. If you watched any of my budget videos back from like 2020, 2021, you would know that we used to only get $100 total. Now we get $200 because we're out of debt. So, treat yourself, all that kind of stuff, which has been working out great. Next up, we have gas. We had budgeted $125 for gas this month, and we spent $148. So it has been costing between $40 and $50 to fill up my gas tank, which is nuts. It is coming down though, so I'm hopeful that, eventually it won't be so bad, but yeah, for now, it's pretty crazy. So that was $23 off, and that was at 2%. Then we also had our groceries. So we had budgeted $700 for groceries. We spent $723, which was also $23. That's funny. So we were $23 off on our groceries as well, and that was at 10% of our income for groceries. So I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like that's not super far over. We were pretty close. We've been really trying to clear out our food so that we don't have to move it, because I really don't want to move a bunch of food. We used to have a deep freezer in our garage, and I actually defrosted it and got everything out of it. So we've been using that up. And so even with doing that, we still overspent on our food. So that definitely tells you something about inflation, right? Like, we were using things out of our freezer and we still overspent on groceries. Then next we have fun and kids. So we did not spend a ton out of this category this month because, like I said, we were in Minnesota and we were just really busy this month. So we did not have a ton of time to do like a bunch of really fun things. So we did spend $52, and my husband actually took my son to a movie. So I think that was the majority of that money. So yeah, that was $48 back into our budget. And that was at 0.7%. And then we also had our miscellaneous budget. So that was $200. We budget $200 a month for miscellaneous expenses. So this month we did overspend a little bit on our miscellaneous. We were at $229. So a majority of this was things that we were doing to get our house ready for showings and stuff. That was still back in June, the end of June. And then we also were kind of buying like some boxes and miscellaneous stuff. So some of that stuff I did take out of our house fund, and then some of it I just took out of our regular budget. Like, there was a couple Walmart trips where I had bought some things for moving, like some tape and stuff, and I just didn't feel like, like dipping into our savings account for like, $20 or something. So there is a little bit of like bleeding from like moving expenses into this, which is why we were a little bit over, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna like nickel and dime myself for like $30 to make a transfer from our savings just for that. So that was over budget. budget by $29, and that was at 3%. Then last regular spending category, I should say, and then we'll move into sinking funds and financial goals. So our last regular spending category is dining out. We had budgeted $250. So this is not including the dining out that we did over our like mini vacation in Minnesota. That came out of that budget. So we actually did even eat out more than this, which is not super awesome, but you know, like I said, very busy month. Not that that's really an excuse, because we definitely could have done better, but we did spend $312 eating out. I'm really hoping in like September, after we've moved and all the things have kind of fallen and settled, that we will be able to get really back to being really strict on our budget. But yeah, right now with like all the things going on, it's just not realistic for us. I really probably should have bumped these budgets up. So that was $62 off, and that was at 4%. So next up is our sinking funds. I kind of just batched them together here. So car, kids, and vacation each got $50. So that was a total of $150. And then we sent $150 for those. That was no difference. And that was at like 2.4%. And then we did home and Christmas, each got $75. So that's another $150. So we did $300 total for our sinking funds this month, and we did send that. So lastly is our Roth IRA and our house fund. If you guys have followed my Debt Free Friday videos, you already know what these amounts are, but we had sent, let's see, $395 to our Roth IRA and $1,700 to our house fund for this month, and that was at 5.4% and 23.4%. So if you guys have followed my channel for a while, you know that we like to stay around 40%. For our financial goals, obviously we were pretty short of that this month, but it was a crazy month, and I wanted to make sure that we still had a lot of flexibility in our budget and we didn't like dedicate every single penny and then go way over budget. So you'll see in 1 second that we actually had a big buffer, and I'll explain what my plan is for that. So our total income for this month again was $7,255. Total expenses were $6,146, and that is a difference of positive $1,109. So obviously we did not spend a lot of our money this month because again, we did have that money set aside for our mortgage that we didn't end up needing. So obviously we have a huge buffer this month, which is not normal for us, but I did set aside that money for the mortgage just in case, and I didn't want to spend it. So what we are planning to do is actually just roll that into our buffer. Our buffer is pretty low right now because we have been digging into it the last few months. If you've been watching my budget videos, you know that we've been overspending. I'm actually just going to leave this as a cushion in our checking account. So our new mortgage is going to be decently more expensive than our current mortgage, and so that was another factor that we wanted to have a little bit of a bigger buffer in our checking account just for that. And so obviously we have an emergency fund and all of that, but I like to have a little bit of a buffer in our checking account too, in case things come out early or we miss things or forget, because we're not perfect and we do make mistakes, and things come out sometimes that I don't remember, or that like come out early or whatever, or I mess up a due date. You know, life happens, and so I want to be prepared. So my husband and I kind of met this month and decided that instead of sending that extra to the house fund, that we would just go ahead and send it to our buffer, and that we would just leave it as a buffer for the next few months, and then we can reevaluate at the end of the year if we want to send it somewhere or if we want to just continue to leave that as a buffer amount. So that is all I had for this month for our budget reconciliation. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I'm sorry if you heard my baby. He's on my lap right now because he could not hang in the bouncer. So, you know, it might have been a little chaotic, but I appreciate you guys sticking around. Let me know in the comments down below if you have closed out your July budget yet. I know I did this really early this month. I was on the ball the last couple of days making sure that everything cleared out of our account. So let me know, have you closed out your budget yet? Are you going to close out your budget? And let me know if you have budgeted for August yet. If you haven't, make sure you get on that, because it is so important to have a written plan for your money to make it work for you. And I will talk to you guys in my video on Friday. Bye guys.